and we're going to talk about, I think the main talking point we're going to bring up is Everton's 10-point deduction. They did bad things. They admitted they did bad things. They got a punishment though, Neil Mellor, which a lot of people are suggesting does not weigh up to the crime. And if others have committed those similar crimes, maybe they might not get as bad a punishment. Were Everton an easy target?
Possibly, yeah. I think it's a mess what's happening at the moment. I feel for the fans that they're the ones suffering. Clearly something's not being right with the reason why Everton are being punished. Whether that's consistent with how other teams have behaved, that I think is the frustration. And 10 points, why 10 points? Why not 8, 6, 4, however it may be? So again, a bit of clarity seems to be lacking there. It seems like a number that's just been plucked out of the sky. Whether it'll stick as well, there's a lot of reports that it's going to be appealed, and whether that is appealed, whether that could be reduced from 10 points to less. But it's a mess. I don't like it. Certainly, I feel as though there's a lot of things in football that I don't like. The behaviour and breaking of rules needs to be punished. There's no doubt about that. But if one team is punished for something and other teams aren't, I don't think that's right either.
And when clubs are punished, Paul, it's all very well saying the clubs get this, clubs get that. Actually, it's the fans who lose out in the end, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think on the football side of things, on the flip side of it, I think it'll turn Goodison Park into a bit of a bear pit. We've seen what the fans there can do, the atmosphere that they can create, and I think they'll do that again in this scenario. But yeah, I mean, this new regulation was brought in September about the speed of punishment, wasn't it, by the governing body, by the Premier League, that clubs have to be brought to task quicker than they have in the past. So that's one reason for this. Another reason for this, Everton, they openly told the Premier League what was going on. They've worked with the Premier League, and they feel hard done to because they've walked hand in hand with the Premier League, and then all of a sudden the Premier League have gone, okay, 10 points. But listen, they've got one charge. Manchester City have got hundreds of charges. Chelsea have got no charges yet, but are being investigated. So if they've set the precedence with 10 points, and I think Mashiri going in there and defending himself, from what I can gather, hasn't gone down particularly well. And you look at Manchester City with 100 and odd charges, who have employed some of the best lawyers in the world, as you would expect, and they're kind of kicking the can down the road a little bit. But I think a lot of this has come because football, this independent regulator that we talk about from the government, football trying to prove that it can regulate itself, that it can provide sanctions for itself, it can govern itself without an independent regulator coming in. I think that's got a big part to play in it. But the points, yes, they are harsh, they're very harsh, and even more so if that's not followed through with other clubs. If Everton are the only ones, then it's ridiculously harsh, and it makes a mockery. But if this is followed up with Manchester City, with Chelsea, all brought to task to the same level of punishment, then you can understand. I think Everton will appeal. I think the 10 points is too much. But I said from day one in the start of this season, it's the weakest bottom half of the Premier League. If you're going to get docked 10 points, this is the season to do it. They'll still stay up with 10 points docked, absolutely. But I think they'll get that reduced to whether it's to 3 or to 6, whatever it is. They've committed a crime, so they're going to get punished for it, whatever points deduction that is. But it's now, this for me is as big, if not bigger, than when VAR came into football because of the effect this is going to have. The Premier League have shown their teeth. They've growled and they've snarled at Everton and they've made an example of Everton, but now it's what follows this. So you like the shallow water in the beach and you drop a stone in and all the sand goes like that. That's what's coming now. We will talk about this week on, week off because of what they've done to Everton. Everton will appeal. They'll get it reduced. Next in line is Man City. Next in line is Chelsea. And this is going to change football.
And you've got a situation, have you now, where you've got the people who've decided 10 points against Everton are now going to talk about the other clubs that went down, who are not just, they're going to try and sue Everton anyway because they've gone down when Everton broke the rules. That's what they say, they broke the rules. They've been punished for that, but they've been punished this season. So the likes of, this goes back 2 seasons, doesn't it? So,
Leeds, Southampton,
so
Burnley, Leicester.
They all are aggrieved, and
they go for Everton. They go to sue Everton, not the Premier League.
But there's going to be there's an investigation from the Premier League to see if there's any kind of compensation for them by the Premier League, which is going to be decided by the same people who said that Everton got a 10-point deduction. The need for a regulator is there, and you can see why the Premier League, Neil, are looking at it thinking, well, we can't really get our own house in order, so maybe we do need it, but we don't want it.
Yeah, mess, embarrassing, because this is the best league in the world, and all of a sudden it's like, what's going on? why is this happening? I don't get the reason why certain clubs are trying to sue Everton. I get maybe the team that finished third from bottom. I can see that argument. Was that Leicester? Don't really see the reason Southampton and Leeds would go for the same. But it is a mess. And as Paul mentioned there about other clubs, if this starts something and cleans the game out, which could be a huge positive, then good. But it's the time span. I mean, the charges for City, 115 of them. I mean, when was that? That was ages ago. Why is that still going on? Why have this Everton one come and gone, and they've got the points already? So that's frustration within the game. I'm in Merseyside. I know a lot of Everton fans around here. They are fuming. They are absolutely fuming. So, and I know of quite a few going to Goodison on Sunday. Wow, that is going to be some atmosphere there. It's going to be us against everybody else. And I think that could help Everton certainly at home, because they haven't been great so far this season at home, have they? But Paul mentioned it's not a bad year for them to be punished, because I still think they'll have enough to get out of it.
They've made those 10 points in the last 5 games already, so they're in a much better situation than they were a few weeks ago. But and it is lucky for them, isn't it, that they're playing well, they're picking up points. But you look at the table now, and when you're in the bottom 3, whatever's happened, however well you've been playing, we'll talk about this when we come to Manchester United, Everton later. But there is that feeling that we're in the bottom 3, we must be there for a reason. The table, you look at it and go, we've got to get out of it again. We've got to do it all over again this last 5 weeks.
Yeah, but they've done it before, haven't they? They did it last season, they did it the season before last. And the difference between last season and the season before to now, they're actually playing well. You know, you look at the result of Crystal Palace last week, you look at the way they're playing, they're scoring goals, and they look a different side this season to what they have done in previous seasons. And they were looking like they were going to finish comfortably towards the top half of the bottom half of the table, if you like, until these points deduction came. But knowing Sean, having played for Sean, this will work in his favour. This will be a closed doors, us against them mentality. It will bring everybody on the playing side of the club together, even to the extent of, right, shut the dressing room door. We're the playing staff, it's our responsibility on the pitch. Let them upstairs, let the owners, let the chairman, whoever, deal with that. We're going to put our business right, and we're going to make sure that we're right on the pitch for the fans. And I really do think that this siege mentality, us against them, will propel them. I mean, I've got no worries for Everton whatsoever. And I think they'll beat United this weekend.
We will come on to that. That is Manchester United going to Goodison, which would be all sorts of words you could describe that atmosphere this weekend. But they've got some big TV games as well coming up in the next few weeks. There's some big fixtures for Everton, and I think they're going to be making their presence felt in other games as well, the way the fans have been raising money. I think we might see a plane going over the Etihad on Saturday lunchtime, which is where we will go to next.